Now, my friends, we'll leave it there and cross live to Westminster to speak to the Conservative MP and chair of the Treasury Select Committee, Harriett Baldwin. Harriett, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much indeed for joining us on Talk today. What should the government be prioritising in today's autumn statement, mini-budget / I don't care what it's called? All week we've had this debate on this show. Is it about businesses to create those green shoots, but that's not going to get you many favours amongst the electorate short term? Or is it about putting the pound back into people's pocket, Harriett? What do you need to do as a party?
Well, I think you've got to look at the context. So last year, when Jeremy Hunt announced a range of sort of long-term measures to stabilise the public finances, inflation was running at 11.1%. This year, obviously, it's down to 4.6%. It's on a trajectory to get back to its target. And I think he's therefore got some room to be able to tax less in terms of both businesses and individuals. I'm expecting today that he'll want to take some steps to encourage business investment. So we heard about full expensing last year. That was a £27 billion tax cut for business. I think we may well hear from him today that he's extending that or indeed making it permanent. I also think that he will want to recognise the fact that it's been a tough year for household budgets. You know, what with inflation being so high last winter, I think he'll want to reflect the fact that it has halved and that there's some scope to be able to reduce tax for households as well. So I think we'll get some announcements on that today.
Harriett, obviously good news for some working people that the minimum wage has been increased. A lot of small, medium businesses were expecting it to go up to £11. It's actually gone up to £11.44. What kind of support can you offer to those small, medium-sized businesses who haven't budgeted for the next couple of years for that kind of pay increase and might now have to make the decision between, do I make my staff redundant or do I up my prices and lose business?
Yeah, this is an important development because it means that, for example, for someone on low pay, back in 2010, more than half their income would have come from welfare benefits. But because there's been this enormous progress in terms of job creation, thanks to these great businesses across the UK, we now have 4 million more people in work and we have lots of vacancies in the economy. And I think that by increasing the pay of those in the lowest pay brackets, you've seen that those on low pay now get most of their income from their wages and from their earnings. And it's really important to say that's a much healthier situation for our economy, and that helps the economy grow. So I think that's going to be one of the things that we'll hear from the Chancellor in terms of helping working people and making sure that those people on low pay continue to decline in our economy.
But no support packages for those business owners who might not be able to afford the minimum wage increase?
I think what we'll see, actually, is there will be support for those kind of businesses. Last year, there was a 75% reduction in business rates. I would imagine that he will continue to help businesses, perhaps not 75%, but certainly some help with their business rates. I would also expect him to continue with the temporary tax cut for fuel duty, the 5p on fuel duty. And I think that he will also help with business full expensing. So I think you're absolutely right. He'll want to back the great British businesses and help more people into work to fill those vacancies that we still have in our economy.
Harriett, chair of the Treasury Select Committee, but also a backbench MP to a degree. I know what you're going to say, but I'll ask the question anyway. A lot of people contacting the show over the last week have said this is all too little too late. There's 12 months to go. When your leader took over from Liz Truss, and we all know what happened there, you were 18 points behind. The latest opinion poll puts the Tory government 23 points behind a revitalised Labour Party. Do you, Harriett, believe that Jeremy Hunt, whether he's helping businesses, whether he's helping put more pounds into people's pockets, is this a ship, excuse the pun, that can be turned round by this government? Yes or no?
Yes, of course it is. And I think that today's announcement will help in that regard. People have seen that we've got a Prime Minister who's prepared to take these long-term decisions for the benefit of the economy. They'll contrast that to a Labour Party that wants to increase spending by £28 billion a year, which of course will feed through in terms of higher taxes for people. So I think people will look at the track record in terms of work, the track record in terms of tackling inflation, the things that the Prime Minister set out to do, he is delivering. At the next election, people will have the choice of choosing socialism, higher taxes and more borrowing. And I think they will look at our track record and they will feel real confidence in how the Prime Minister and the Chancellor have delivered.
Well, Harriett Baldwin, thank you so much for joining us this morning.